Is remember species, location and date. Fill it on the envelope before we forget it. Then we need to do the weight and the length. So the weight is to the nearest gram. This is quite a small fish, so we should be able to weigh it on the small balance. Can you just, Andre, just bring over the small balance? Oh, there's one there, I didn't see that. So remember to turn it on and make sure that it's on kilograms rather than pounds and ounces. It's on grams, the G at the top there. If it needs to be zeros, you press the 0 button again, and it should tear it, and then we weigh it. Weight to the nearest gram. Doesn't weigh anything. You can edit this, can't you? Let's try this balance. This one may not be working. So we want to tear it, weigh it.
Did I pick a bad fish?
It's not 3. Okay, so that's 71 grams. So we write 71 for frequency. 71 grams on the weight. The length is to the nearest centimetre. So length board. Do I have a length board? Do you have a length board? I don't have anything like this. So it's just. We'll just pause whilst the film. And this is a bad one because it's been used so much that it's worn out there, so we can't.
Can't use that one.
Okay, so length to the nearest centimetre. We're doing the total length, which is from the tip of the snout to the end of the tail. So put the snout at the top end and then just bunch the tail together and see what the length is. The length is 21.0. So we write 21.0 on there. And then with the dissecting, you can use a scalpel blade, but I prefer to use a pair of scissors. So you basically find the anus. In the whiting, the anus is actually kind of in the middle of the tummy. In other fish, it will be located further back. But you want to open up the peritoneal cavity, which is where this soft part is here, where all the gut organs and the gonads and the swim bladder is. So just put the tip in, the anus, keep the point upright, and then just cut up towards the head and cut back towards the tail like that. And you should open up the peritoneal cavity. So when immediately you open it up, first thing you see, remember I said that the liver, there's a long lobe of the liver, so don't mistake that for a gonad. That could look a bit like an ovary, but it's not. There's the liver, which will be up here, and things, when the fish is caught, all the organs can get moved around. So in a freshly caught fish which hasn't been disturbed too much, you would find the liver was lying on the top, and there'll be the long lobe of the liver would be running down here. As it is, the liver's kind of slid down, so it's kind of under the stomach. This is the stomach here. So this is the long lobe of the liver. That's not a gonad, that's the long lobe of the liver. And so what you basically find is that the esophagus, which is running from the mouth under, and this organ here is the heart, a two-chambered heart. The white bit is the auricle and the dark red bit is the ventricle. Fish have got a two-chambered heart, so that's the heart here. The esophagus runs under the heart, comes into the stomach, and the stomach has a descending loop and an ascending loop, and this is a blind-ending sac which kind of increases the size of the stomach for digestion. But there's actually an ascending and a descending lobe of the stomach. It then runs into the anterior intestine, which has got finger-like projections or pyloric cecae. Then it folds into the posterior intestine, which folds backwards and forwards a few times before exiting through the anus. The thing we want to do is to remove all the gut organs, because under the gut organs, you can just see it slightly swollen there, is the swim bladder. And then lying on top of the swim bladder, under the gut organs, lying on top of the swim bladder, will be the gonads. So the easiest way I find to do it is just grab hold of all the gut organs, pull them back, and then if you cut just where the heart is, you will cut through the esophagus. And then I haven't quite managed to do it. And then you should be able to lift all the gut organs out. Of course, the one that we film is the one that doesn't work very well. There we are. So in a freshly caught fish, this would all be a lot cleaner and obvious to see. But this is a little bit mushy. So this is the liver. The liver in a whiting will start to break down when you freeze thaw it. So we've got the esophagus running into the stomach, the ascending and descending lobe of the stomach, which is running into the posterior intestine here. But this is not a very clean example. You may want to film another one. So what we have then is you look at it and you're, again, this is not a very good example. A bigger fish would have been better. You may want to film the next one. We'll get a big fish at the back. Because you should have, the swim bladder is this bit here, and you should find the gonads, the ovaries, if they were there, would be lying about here. Sometimes they get picked up and carried over with all the gut organs, but I can't see them here. And I can't see any ovaries here, so I'm going to say that this is a male fish. I can't see any convoluted tubings. The swim bladder, I'm going to say that this is an immature male. The reason why I'm saying that is because you can't see any ovaries here of any size at all. And if this was a maturing or a mature mature male, you would see much larger testes, convoluted sacs. So because of the freeze-thaw process and the fact that it's all a bit mushy inside, you can't see very clearly, but there's probably amongst all this gunk here, there are some strap-like gonads running down.
So it's not that black thing then?
No.
It's not a testy then?
What, this thing?
Yeah.
No, that's part of the swim bladder. That's just, the swim bladder's burst here, you see, so that's actually just part of the swim bladder. But you'll probably find that there's one of these kind of bits of straps which are running down here are the ovary, are the testes. So I'm going to call that an immature male. And just based on the experience of looking at these fish, I'm going to write M1 here. Based on the experience of looking at these fish, I mean, these fish probably grow about 12 to 15 centimetres in their first year. So this fish is maybe a year old, at most 18 months old. So it's still an immature whiting. They just grow very quickly in their first year. Okay, so that was the insides. And then what you do with the knife is you kind of tap along here. You can feel it's hard, and then all of a sudden you get to somewhere around here, and you can maybe feel it with your finger as well. It's hard, and then it gets soft here. So that is the base, the end of the cranium there. So you want to be cutting down there, and then you want to cut until the knife is parallel with the top of the eye, and then slide it towards the head. So we'll just holding both sides of the head. I normally hold the gill operculate to keep hold of the head. And that also means that my fingers are behind the knife when I'm cutting. Kind of cut down and then cut, because the knife isn't sharp enough to cut across, so we'll lie it on its side and we'll just cut there. If you do that, you open up behind the eye and you can see these two organs, these two white things here are the otoliths, very large white otoliths. And in a freshly caught fish, you can actually see the bands. These will become less distinct when we so they have very large otoliths. So you can see here it's white and then it's clear and then it's white. So this is a fish. They lay down 2 pairs of bands a year, a white and a clear band each year. So this fish is probably 18 months old, because you can see 2 white and 1 clear. So that I'll explain in the aging why we call it, but that would be called a 1++ fish.
It's aging tomorrow.
Aging tomorrow afternoon. So that can then go in the envelope, and that fish is finished. Seal it up. Leave the envelope on the side. Put the fish in the waste bin and go on to the next one.